guys doing today? Sarah, how you doing? Sarah's with me today to go ahead and let you guys know some information about an upcoming game. I believe it launches tomorrow, November the 5th, Invasion 2037. And first of all, I want to go ahead and thank the developer for not only giving me a free key, Sarah, to this game, but they've also given me a key to their previous game back in March, Creatures Incorporated. Now, before we get started with anything else, I want to say that Creatures Incorporated was a game that I played back when they gave it to me, or around the time they gave it to me. And it was a game that I could tell right away was using a bunch of Unreal assets from the store, including like their crafting, their crafting asset where you can craft your own houses and stuff like that. Really common, thing where you can build your own houses and stuff like that with wood and everything like that. A lot of these games have it. They use the same asset pack to do that. But this game had assets for driving cars, a bunch of crazy monsters and things like that. And I remember playing it and thinking, I see effort put in here, but there's so many assets that I know just came from the asset store that are just plopped into the world. I guess I felt bad making a review video about it because I knew that if I had made a video about Creatures Incorporated, it would have been a bad review. The same thing happened the other day, Sarah, when we played Invasion 2037, and I had hopes for it being a good game, and it looked pretty promising at the start, but as I played more and more of it, I started seeing more and more of the same kind of zombies that just, targeted you, that kind of came out of nowhere. Sometimes there was way too many of them, and it just felt like the game was way too reliant on assets to do all the work for the game. And, it just felt not finished. There's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of things that just didn't gel for a good gaming experience. So, again, as I said at the end of that video, Sarah, I said, let's try this game. I said, I'm not going to score it. Let's go ahead and just try this game in a year and see how the development goes. At the time that I played that game, I didn't know about Creatures Incorporated. I didn't know they also created this game that I played 6 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever it was, and kind of had the same feelings. So, this video, Sarah, is going to be a video where I just want to let people know about this game, because when we go to the community hub for Invasion 2037, unlike a lot of indie games, we see people are hyped up about this game. People are interested in buying this game, and I want people to know what the hell they're buying. It's going to be an early access game, but if we go to the previous game, Creatures Incorporated, we see now this game is getting mixed reviews, and it's a game that came out back in March, and this game is also a game that's still in early access. They've reduced the price of this game. Kind of tells me that at one point the multiplayer was in the game when it launched in beta back in March. It had multiplayer. Now we see that it's just single player, and they're announcing that they're working on adding multiplayer again. As recently as a couple weeks ago. So I guess my question to the developers is, why, when you have a big game like this that's made a lot of money, 98 reviews tells me they've made a lot of money on this game, because usually you'll say pretty accurate representation of how many purchases they have. Now, this is not keys and key redemptions and free games. This is actual purchases right here, and usually around 1 in 50 actually leave a review. So if you multiply this 100 by about 50, Sarah, you're probably going to find out how many purchases they have. It's going to probably be really close. So I'm going to guess 5,000 people purchased this game at $10. That's $50,000. They've made a lot of money on this game. Even if I'm wrong with that, they've made a lot of money on this game, Sarah. And it's not finished yet. They're still working on it. And now they decide they want to put out another big game when this one's not yet complete. So it is what it is, but I want to show people some stuff that I found while looking into this a little bit more, this Invasion 2037. So what I have now is I have my video that we did just a couple of days ago, Sarah. 3 days ago, I think it was. And we see here at the intro, I'm sitting here trying different colors of stuff on, but you see the pants, you see the shirt. Let's go ahead and Google. We know this game was made with the Unreal Engine. Unreal Asset Store, right? And if I go here, and I said, you know, I think I said in the review that this game feels like it's, you know, very reliant on assets. So if I just go in, I don't know, Hawk, ellipse, mail, see what we can find. Not finding anything that looks like that guy yet until we get down here. $29.99. Wow. Look at the shirt. Go ahead and click on this. So we see the same pants right here, the same exact shirt, and you can get different faces and hair colors and stuff like that, and that's where you get all these different, you know, well, I'm trying to sit here and click on the game like it's a game. There you go. So I know I clicked on, like, see there? But see, there's how you're getting the green hair and the glasses and different things that you see here in this asset package. This came out back in June, $30 asset pack. Okay. So now if we go here further and we look for, well, first of all, let's go ahead and look at this house, right? Okay. That house I want to look at. I know we went to another house at some point here, right here. So let's go ahead and go here. So we know they bought your main character on the asset store for 30 bucks. And now they have a bunch of trees and, you know, a forest area that they've mapped out or whatever. But then we look on here at houses on the Unreal Store. And we come across this one, another $29.99 asset. Realistic house kit. Okay. So, oops, if we click on this, we see that there are many different options here for your house. And if you look at some of these pictures here, there was one picture I was looking at that I know showed like the inside of it. Thought. But one thing that it's noticeable around this whole area, we are going to see rolls of toilet paper. We're going to see different items that are included in this asset kit. The toaster is one we kept finding, Sarah, inside this house.
Oh, yeah, we found the toaster.
We found a toaster inside there. We found different items inside here.
Crackers.
Uh-huh. And a lot of this stuff this is definitely the house. And it's it's a different house, so you're going to see different houses in this game. A lot of the houses, are pretty much the same kind of house. They didn't even bother changing the design of the house or whatever. They just pretty much left it as the design is. So they bought the house kit on the Unreal. I guarantee you this is the house kit they used, and they're using some of the items that you can get as hardware directly from this asset kit. So let's go ahead and take a look here. And you'll notice as well that we went into a couple of different houses in this game, and the houses are all exactly the same. So let's go ahead and look at some of the zombies. Look at that one. That one's for you, Sarah.
Oh my god. That is so good.
Uh-huh. Okay, I think this zombie here is this one right here, a zombie with a t-shirt, and it has different t-shirts available for him. But that zombie right there, like this zombie right here. Or this is kind of a checkered shirt. It might be this one. I don't know. It's one of these zombies available on the Unreal Store. You know that they didn't make this. You know they didn't make that zombie. Got it right here off the Unreal. So if we put in female, that one looks like the Walking Dead zombie. Exactly like that Walking Dead zombie from like. So if we continue to play this, yep, it's right here. Okay, so we see a bald female zombie with a plaid skirt. And I found this exact zombie in a zombie package somewhere here. I mean, finding all this stuff seems like it's a lot of work, but you know, it's really not. I don't know why my home phone is ringing. Brand new phone I just got for my new job. And that's the second time it's ringing, so they're obviously calling for somebody else. Where are the zombies at? Damn. No zombies. Because I know I didn't look this hard for these the other night. But I mean, you can see the skirts on them and everything in one of these packs. I don't think it was $69.99. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep, $69.99 package. Look at that skirt. Look at that skirt. They just took the hair off. There's the hair. There's the one with the hair off, but it's got this skirt on it. So they bought this package of female zombies for $70. And a lot of people, if you go back and you look at, you know, let me show you something here, guys. If you go to YouTube, and I didn't make a video, like I said, I didn't make a video on the creatures or whatever, because I didn't want to tear them down, because I felt like there was some level of, you know, effort put into the game, even though it was heavily reliant on assets. But my buddy here, English Teacher Plays, played and reviewed.
Tend to be incredibly skilled at hiding their opiate.
Played this game back in April, it looks like, and he played this Creatures Incorporated, and he was about impressed with it as I was. I gave it a negative review and basically laughed at it, etc., etc. And I hope he doesn't mind me using. But this is also another asset. This character you are, it's not the same asset as this game, but a lot of the items in this game are the same. And you'll find all this cage is on the asset store as well. You'll find this guy as another apocalypse survivor that you can buy. In fact, I bet you we can find him right now. Male apocalypse. He's just not as new. That's the one for the new. But he's in here. I saw him the other day. I think it's this guy right here. If I remember right. Where's this backpack? No, maybe it's not that guy. Anyway, he's here because I saw this guy the other day. He might be the same. I don't know. But he's here, guys. He's on the asset store. But anyway, I want to show you something here, guys. When this English Teacher Plays, go check him out, guys, if you guys haven't seen him. Okay, so he was like, what the hell? He was basically saying in his video, I just watched this the other day, and he was like laughing at these monsters, right? He was like, I wonder if this is like an asset or if it's something they actually designed. And I'm like, how can you not know, dude, that these are obvious assets. You know, they just target you, and they have a fire attack, and so you can kind of see them right there. And then there's other monsters in this game as well that you'll come across. But if you just put in monster in the Unreal, and you scroll down, you will see, hey, look what we found. The multiple eyes. Go. I mean, it has the fire attack and everything like that just built in. You know, a $25 package, and it's also included in the Monster Pack Volume 2. So if you go to the Monster Pack Volume 2, you'll find a lot of the monsters that, you know, are in this Creatures game included in this Monster Pack as well. So it's pretty, you know, it's pretty funny that these games made by this developer, Team B and Little Beavers Games, is pretty much just taking a flat map and putting in asset trees, asset rocks, the same house over and over and over again. Maybe they bought a barn. You know, they bought some vehicles for this, you know, for the Creatures game as well that you can get in. But Sarah, they're very reliant on these purchase assets, and it's obvious that they've spent a lot of money on all these assets.
True.
But when we see that they probably
okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a moment. But a lot of people do that though.
True.
A lot of people buy assets for games and put them in there.
Obviously, yeah.
What is it about this game that you are so quick to say, oh, it's just full of assets, as opposed to another one that might be? What is the defining thing? Is it the gameplay? Is it what? You know, there could be one that has assets that you know, think is fabulous, but then this one you don't. So I know why.
But you're
I know you very well. I know what you're going to say. But for the people that are watching this either now or later on, what is it about this game that makes you say, guys, you need to be wary about getting it, as opposed to another one that might use the same similar assets, but you like the game? Do you see? Do you know what I'm asking?
Sure.
Does that make any sense, or am
Absolutely.
I just rambling on?
It's a good question, because if we look at other games that are very successful, such as PUBG, for example, you know, it's a very big game. That game is very reliant on assets as well. The problem and the difference between the gameplays we're looking at, and I know that this is an early access game, and I know it's going to come out. The problem that I've seen over my years of being, you know, reviewing these kind of games is a lot of these developers, and I think the competency of the developers, the skill level of these developers making these two games is probably a lot higher than what we typically see of, you know, indie developers using assets. But from what I've seen, I'm not confident that either one of these games is ever going to be fully completed. I feel like these games are going to follow a similar pattern of a lot of these apocalypse kind of games such as this, where the developers will work on it for a while. They'll be releasing, like, I would bet within another 6 months they'll be launching another game while these two games are still in early access. And I don't think these games are ever going to be completed to a point where they're fully functional, where they're bug free, and where they're even a good value for their money. I could be wrong.
Why do you say that? Why do you think that they're just going to let it sit?
Because I've seen it time and time and time and time again over the years. When you play a game initially at early access, it's either going to be to a point where you feel confident that, hey, this game just needs a little bit more work and it'll be done. It just needs this, this, and this. But when you play these games, and the same thing happened when I played Creatures and when I played Invasion 2737 the other night, there's barely anything in the game, Sarah, except the assets and the movement of the assets that already is included in the assets. The attacks, the everything that these monsters and zombies have is by default with the purchased asset. So it's pretty easy to see that the developer has pretty much just placed these houses that he's bought over and over and over again on a big flat map on the Unreal Engine store. and he's done some work. Probably the most work they've done is going around and making sure that the trees are all level to the ground. But I believe that's a function within the Unreal Engine where you can do this all at once. You don't have to go and do every single tree. But I feel like the most work they've done is in the map generation and figuring out where to put these houses and where to put all the assets that they purchased. However, the movement, the gameplay itself is way too reliant on the assets that they purchased. So for example, Sarah, if the developer wanted to, or got a suggestion, or even if they wanted to themselves, wanted to make a movement where your default character that you play as ducked down to the ground and maybe got flat on the ground in a prone position, right? If that motion, if that animation isn't already included in the asset they purchased, I don't feel confident this developer would know how to do that. And that's just one example. So that's why I say I don't feel like this game is ever going to be a point of what most people would consider complete.
You don't feel confident that they could do it because they rely on assets so much?
Correct. I feel like they're way too reliant on the assets. And again, this is my opinion. I hope that I'm wrong. But this is based on experience of reviewing these same kinds of games over and over and over and over again. And I hope I'm wrong. I want to thank the developer again for offering me things. And I will, rather than getting mad at me, just prove me wrong. But what I honestly feel like, Sarah, is they know what is going to sell. This developer knows what kind of games to make, and knows that they need to use pretty assets and pretty graphics and using the Unreal Engine to create a great trailer. So what they do is they create a really nice looking trailer from all their assets. They don't show us all the bugs and the problems with the game in early access. They simply say, hey, it's in early access. But for whatever reason, it's not playing. Let me go ahead and do that. There we go. So they go in and create these. See how they placed all these zombies in here? They just real quick, short 2-second clips of them taking out the zombie. They don't show the zombies moving through walls or all the different bugs that can happen. They show 2-second clips of the best parts of the game, which is pretty typical with a trailer. But they make the game look really enticing and inviting and get people all hyped up with the game. And it's not until you play the game, like we did the other night, Sarah, when I was like, this game is a mess. It's just not fun. Everything in the game is a fucking asset that they've plopped into the game. Yeah, they seem like they have very little control over when the zombies come, where the zombies come from, limiting how many zombies come at you at once. So that's a challenge for the developer that I'm saying, hey, let's make sure that we only have so many zombies coming at you as you're moving through the fields. Let's limit that to 4 at a time, because if you have too many zombies coming at you out in the fields when you're trying to make your way to the convenience store, as it was, the player's going to get discouraged because they're going to get killed. Things like that. I don't think the developer knows how to put limits on those because they don't, and they also don't know how to do anything except the default asset animations. And that is why I feel this game is way too asset reliant. Both games are way too asset reliant and not reliant enough on the developer's own coding skills to make a complete and quality game. I think they're basically in over their heads. They're in over their heads. Either they're in over their heads. It's one of two things, Sarah. It's either the developer they are in over their heads, right? And they're trying to make way too big of an epic game based on their skill level that they're never going to be able to pull off. And typically that leads to discouragement and abandonment of a game. Do you think? Or my other option here is I think that I don't even think they want to make a quality game. I think they're just buying pretty assets and moneying all up so they can make a good trailer and get a lot of initial sales and then reduce their price and hope they get more sales. And it's a cash grab. And my gut feeling tells me both of these games are nothing more than an attempt to get an early cash grab based on the trailers and get a whole bunch of money at first and then reduce the price, kind of like they've already done with Creatures Incorporated. They've already reduced the price of that game from, I think, $19.99 to $9.99. And it's going to continue to get reduced. And they're just going to try to get every dollar they can out of Steam players for what they know they're never going to be able to finish. Oh, you had a question for me?
Yes, I do have a question for you. Do you see... Because you've already, and I know, you've already made up your mind about this game.
If people can't hear that by now.
Right.
I know that you have definitely made up your mind about this game.
And I hope I'm wrong. But what was your?
But my question is there any way that the developers can rectify that? Can change your opinion?
Absolutely.
And what would that be?
So as you see, I already pretty much told you that I predict they're going to come out with another early access game in about 6 months.
Yeah, you think they're just going to throw some stuff together, throw it out there, make money. But what if they don't?
Okay. So let's say that. What if they don't? That's what they need to do to prove it to me. I want you guys to finish Creatures Incorporated. Right? I want you guys to finish Invasion 2037. Not reduce the price. Complete it. So basically, finish all their promises they're making in the early access. So early access is an area where they can basically define what the game is going to be when they're finished. What is the current state? Will the game be priced differently? How are you planning on involving the community? Right here is how you involve the community when they're giving you feedback on your game. Planning on release early access in Q4 2020. So about a year from now, they plan to have this released. And they make promises. There are 5 areas we're going to work on: the management of the shelter, research and survival, enlarging the map, more varieties of weapons, add the opportunity to save survivors and bring them to the shelter so they can help you manage the shelter and fight with you, and more varieties of enemies. So for example, it's not a good thing when I look at something like this, a promise like this. Sarah, what does this mean to you based on what I've told you? More varieties of enemies. What does that mean to you? What are they going to do to do that?
Me? If I saw that in something, to me, because currently what we saw, and although we didn't play for very long, what we saw were just zombies. To me, more variety of enemies would maybe be, I don't know, zombie dogs.
Right. Maybe hawks.
Or diseased creatures. You know, obviously this has some kind of, and I mentioned this, it has some kind of robotic element to it. Because there was, you know, not just zombies, but because of that buzzing that you keep hearing that I think means something. But also there was that big, huge, which reminded me of the re-release of War of the Worlds, that big, tall creature. Okay. Mechanical robot type thing. I think that has something to do with the zombies. But maybe... some kind of alien creatures, maybe some kind of robots, maybe something like that. Okay. You know, something happened. There's some kind of backstory, and that's what I would like to hear from the developers. I don't know if there's a backstory on there.
That would be great if we had some kind of a
story. I would like to hear some kind of backstory. I want to know what happened. Don't just throw me in the middle of some kind of so-called invasion. And why is it an invasion? Right. Because it's zombies? Okay, why am I wearing a gas mask? Why is it foggy all the time? What caused them to become zombies? See, I want a backstory. Right. But that's just me personally. You can't just throw me in a game and expect me to just go. I want to know, why is it the way it is first?
So one way they could do that...
I like storytelling.
I agree with you 100%. And one way they could do that maybe is start where you already have. Start with that. And I think a cool way to do that would be to give players clues. Maybe they find that dead person, the first person we found dead on his bed or whatever. Maybe we find a note from him or a diary from him, and it kind of gives us some of the backstory on his experience and what happened.
Where's a diary where people were recording what happened? Or, you know, I mean... something. Throw me a bone somehow.
Exactly. And so what we're talking about, Sarah, is something I don't think they'll do. I hope I'm wrong. Because why? Because they can't buy this backstory or the story of what happened. They can't buy that on the fucking asset store. So, and I hate to say, well,
buy a backstory on an asset store.
You're gonna have
you gotta have somebody come up with something.
Right. You gotta put effort.
You've gotta have somebody who can write it. You know, I mean, that, to me, that's all kind of part of a good game.
Right.
You know, I mean, you want to know why Diablo did so well and why their 4th one is coming out? Because they got a damn good backstory.
True. And why
if they didn't have all that storytelling in it, that game wouldn't be worth shit.
Well, so, that too, and I mean, you're talking about Blizzard, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited.
Well, no. Listen to me. Okay. Let me finish. People could say, oh, well, yeah, but this is an indie developer. I understand that. I'm talking about backstory.
Right.
Not anything else.
Not AAA production, right. So
Right. Not AAA productions. I'm talking about a
just have a story.
Yeah.
Anybody can make a story up.
Well, not anybody. Sometimes it would just suck anyway. But
True.
I mean, come up with something other than just, okay, bunker. How did he get to the bunker? Was it always there?
Right.
Why are the horses dead in the barn?
Yeah.
What
killed them?
Give us something. I mean, you're leaving your people who are buying this kind of thirsty for something. And I think that would help.
It would.
Assets can only get you so far.
I agree 100%.
So yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm taking over half of your live stream.
No, you're fine. You're fine, honey. I think
I kind of went way off the marker there, but for me, enemies, more variety of enemies. Yes, it means like, dogs attacking or wolves or flocks of, birds and just, more stuff to fight other than just zombies. And there's enough freaking zombies out there, guys. Come on, a little something more, please.
Right. And I think, when we look at, I think it was right here. Yeah. So when we look at this game and we're talking about me coming up to a dead horse or whatever, I think that's the first, yeah, right here. Where I'm sitting here looking at this dead horse and I'm like, oh, this poor horse or whatever. One thing that would be cool here is if we actually heard the guy's voice, for example. Something you can't buy in the asset store. What if you actually create, oh man, it looks like zombies. And, obviously, this is a fucking asset, and that's the problem. Do some work to your goddamn asset and maybe make some bite marks and and guts hanging out or something like that. And make this guy say, oh, it looks like...
have to do all that.
Right, but I'm just saying, do something to the assets you're buying that will help integrate it into your story that you're trying to make us feel. And so maybe he could say, oh, it looks like he's been eaten by zombies. Maybe he could say that, or he could say that on the screen.
Was the horse attacked by zombies, or did the horse die of,
not being
bad
fed
food, rotten food, Yeah, I mean, something to kind of help you, because you find a lot of stuff, but it doesn't give you any clues as to what happened.
Right. And so that's what we're talking about, is rather than just plopping in a whole bunch of assets and expecting the player to imagine what happened themselves, give us a story. And that's exactly what Sarah's saying. So when you say something like more varieties of enemies here is something that's going to be happening in the full version, to me, all this says to me is you're going to buy more assets and throw them in. We want more than goddamn assets thrown in, default assets with default animations, default attacks. Quit just buying fucking assets and throwing them into the goddamn world and thinking that's going to be done. Actually make some content yourself, including the story that Sarah's talking about. And this is something that would prove to me that you guys are for real. Quit buying assets, start creating a fucking story, because anybody can buy a bunch of assets on the store and put them together and make a nice looking trailer. We've all seen this too many times again, but I doubt you guys are going to do this. I think you guys are just doing a money grab. I think you guys are buying a bunch of assets that you're going to use in your next fucking 10 games, the same assets, create a whole bunch of different games, do a whole bunch of money grabs, and make as much money as you possibly can. We already know that you've probably made, what, $40,000, $50,000 off Creatures Incorporated. You're probably going to make that again off this. And then you're going to drop the price and try to squeeze every fucking dollar you can out of this. And I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong to Little Beavers Games. I want to thank you guys for the keys, for the incomplete games. But people right now are going to buy this game, and they're going to feel the same way I do. So prove me wrong. What I'm asking Little Beavers Games to do here. Finish this shit and give us a story. Give us a reason to play. Give us something besides goddamn assets. Come at you. Please. And I want to know what you guys have to say. Be sure you comment down below. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up because we've already been rambling for about 35 minutes. Sarah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being here with me and keeping me a little bit under control.
I try, but sometimes it's just not possible.
It's frustrating to me, Sarah.
I try, guys, and
it's frustrating to me.
There's only so much one person can do.
The problem here, Sarah, the difference between you and I, hon, is you are not you haven't been a gamer as long as I have, and you haven't seen these games like this make all these.
Not necessarily say that.
Well, I know, but you haven't been.
I mean, yes, you are a few years older than me, and I've been playing games for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't review games, though.
Right.
I do now with you,
mm-hmm.
but you know that hasn't been my whole goal in playing a game.
Right.
You know, but I would hope that I kind of can figure out what people would like. You know, I have a lot of other people that are gamers as well. I know people that work for gaming companies, so I know a bit. But yeah, I mean, I have played games, just different kinds of games, not shoot 'em up games like you do.
Right,
so
but another thing,
it's a bit different. What I do is different.
Let's go ahead and talk about something else as well. Until you met me, you really didn't know about Steam. You might have heard of Steam, but you didn't know how
I had Steam.
Right.
I did play games on Steam, but I didn't know the whole ins and outs of it, no. I knew it as like a lot of people do. You go on, you see a game, you put it on your wish list, you buy it, you play it. Which is what most people honestly do. So my experience with Steam was that.
But I guess what I'm wanting to say and what I wanted to ask you is you didn't know how crazy big the indie gaming side of gaming today was until you started seeing that 50 games a game, you know, typically around 50 games every single day, Monday through Friday, come out on Steam. When you heard that...
Yeah, because I didn't pay attention.
Right, you didn't know
I didn't pay attention to it.
Right. So what I'm saying is I've been on my YouTube channel reviewing this stuff and playing this stuff, and even if I haven't done reviews, I've seen this over and over and over and over and over with these kind of things. And again...
Yes, but I guess I'm one... I don't want to just throw the hammer down and tell people this is what they're going to do and that's final. You know, and yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate in this, but you know what? I guess because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because it is an early access, and you know what? They could finish it. Who knows? You don't, and I don't.
Right. And let's hope I'm
so,
wrong. Let's hope Sarah's
I hope so.
Let's hope Sarah's faith is right. Do Little Beavers games. Finish your games. Do what you promised in your early access. And please, for the love of God, don't put out another early access game until at least one of these fully complete and hits all your promises you promised people. Finish a game, make sure it's complete, make sure for the most part it's bug-free before you launch, you know, Zombie Attack 2088 or whatever the hell their next game is. Yes, I am a jaded gamer. I think that would be fair to say. But I think a lot of people that have been through this stuff again and again are pretty jaded. So it's playing your first two games to the developers that makes me feel the same feelings I've felt 1,000 times before. That, hey, this game's not going to be completed. This is a money grab. Prove me wrong. I hope you do.
Please do. Please do. Shut him up.
Shut me up, exactly.
That would be
because
listen to me, shut him up.
Because
no, it would be
promise
nice
you
for once.
I promise
for him not
you,
to be right.
If you guys come out next fucking year and you guys have another early access game, whatever the hell it's called, Zombie Attack 2088 or whatever the fuck you call it, you guys have another game launch in early access, I'm going to make another video. You guys probably won't give me the key, but I will buy the game, and we're going to have the same discussion again. I'm going to be like, why didn't you guys finish Creatures Incorporated? Why didn't you guys finish Invasion 2037?
And then there's going to be me coming on. Well, maybe they'll do it this time. Eternal optimist, I guess.
And you're going to be protecting them, yes. So I'll tell you another thing you guys could do as well that might help you guys. You guys need to hire Sarah as a marketing agent.
Oh
I'm
my
just saying,
God.
Little People's Games. Go out and hire Sarah for your marketing agent. Don't hire me for your marketing. I want to know what you guys have to say, though. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube. Be sure you comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree more with my being jaded, my distrust in this new game, this new developing team? Or do you guys more side with Sarah?
Oh no, they're gonna side with you. They're not gonna side with me.
I don't know. We'll see. This has been an interesting video, though. Guys, be sure you comment down below. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everyone.